We have updates on Tyler Seguin and Matt Dumba. The Stars look to hand the Predators a franchise history 9th straight loss. And as always, Shooting Star.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. The Dallas Stars return from a mini 3-day break to take on the Nashville Predators tonight, who are at an all-time low, on the brink of losing 9 straight games. We'll preview the Preds, we'll play Shooting Star, and we have updates on Matt Dumba and Tyler Seguin, a jam-packed Thursday edition of Locked On Stars. That is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. So, head coach Pete DeBoer had a few updates ahead of practice on a Wednesday morning, and Tyler Seguin, of course, underwent surgery last week, and all news is positive on a Tyler Seguin front currently. They said the surgery went well, and he's expected to return to Dallas tomorrow. I would imagine in the next month or so, we'll have a better understanding of a possible return for Tyler Seguin, but of course, that is all dependent on rehab and all of that good stuff. Of course, the benchmark is 4 to 6 months, so more than likely he is going to miss the entire regular season. Possibly he'll be ready for a return in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Maybe not. Who knows? We will certainly be keeping an eye on that, as Tyler Seguin has had such a remarkable season, and it really, really sucks that he had to undergo surgery because he's having one of the best goal-scoring years of his entire career. But we all hope that the Stars can make a deep playoff run and Tyler Seguin can join them at some point in time. So good news on that front for Tyler Seguin, but it does give some opportunities for players to step up, namely Maverick Bourque, who we're hoping can sort of slide his way into a top 9 role. That is a key player for the Dallas Stars moving forward. How does Maverick Bourque shape his game night in and night out for the next 3 or 4 months? It could be the factor on if the Stars go out and grab another winger at the trade deadline, or they want to go grab another piece, depending on where they are at with the LTIR situation. If Seguin ever does go on there, then the Stars have a lot of room to make some additions. But if Maverick Bourque can really solidify himself as a top 9 forward on the Stars roster, then maybe it gives Jim Nill a bit more wiggle room to not have to go out and maybe add a scoring winger. I know Brock Nelson has been thrown out there. Maybe he can grab another depth defenseman, really shore up the blue line. I think if Maverick Bourque can step up and score eventually, I feel like it's there because he seems to get better as the games move on. I mentioned there are some things that I think he needs to improve on, but 5 points in 22 games is not the best. I mean, Oscar Beck has 7 points, but it's going to take a while for Bourque to develop, right? Oscar Beck's had a few seasons in the AHL. I know Bourque has as well, but it's a jump up. He's going to figure out how to score, and hopefully it comes soon. If he can solidify himself as a top 9 forward instead of sort of hovering around in and out of the lineup on that 4th line, then that's a great sign for the Stars moving forward. But doesn't mean they shouldn't add a winger. That's not what I'm getting at by any stretch of the imagination. If you have the ability to use your cap space to your advantage, absolutely use it. Abuse it while you can before they close up the loophole. I think a lot of Stars fans would concur with me on that. Matt Dumba, this was a more shocking surprise, I guess, or more surprising news than Tyler Seguin, of course, who we already knew was undergoing surgery. But Dumba is dealing with an upper body injury. They are taking precautions and getting him checked out be on the lookout for a possible call-up of Alexander Petrovic, possibly tomorrow morning, or by the time you're listening to today's podcast. That could be a possibility if they feel like he's not able to go. And the Stars are at home here for the next, 5 or 6 games. So we may be seeing some transactions from the Texas Stars. So we'll see if Matt Dumba is healthy enough, but he is dealing with an upper body injury. I've looked into Dumba a bit more closely, and it's just not great news when you're looking at the last 5 games. Even he's playing about 15 minutes a night. Against Vegas and LA, he played just over 14. In Utah, he played under 13. Chicago and Calgary, he played over 15 minutes, but he's playing a career low in minutes. If you take out his first 3 seasons, when he's a young buck. But since he's been an NHL regular, this is by far the lowest amount of ice time per game. And 19 games this season, 15 and a half minutes. He was playing 18 minutes in Tampa Bay when he got traded from Arizona. He's playing quite a bit in Arizona, but we all know that was a completely different situation. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? I think that's where Matt Dumba should live right now at his point in his career. But when they brought him in to sort of be a reclamation project, and you're hoping can be a steady stability right shot defenseman for you, it just really has not played out very well. 1 point in 19 games isn't great. I know you didn't get him for your offense. You got him to sort of be that gritty style physical player. And it's been a bit of a rough go for Matt Dumba, albeit he had some decent games here recently. But as I mentioned, coming into the season, Dumba was sort of acquired to sort of slide into your top 4. I said that you more than likely want him as sort of your 5th or 6th defenseman, but that was sort of the role you were hoping he could fit into. And you could say that's really naive, and maybe that's not what the Dallas Stars thought he could be. But with the deal you gave him, a couple years, and you're paying him a decent amount, look, it really hasn't worked out here in Dallas. That's sort of the conclusion I've come to here recently. But I know there's a lot of talk about wanting him to be traded. I don't know who would want to acquire Matt Dumba. That's sort of where I'm coming from on the situation in terms of a trade piece. I just what are you really going to get for him? If you just want to get him off your roster, you want to get him off your roster. That just, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Dallas is going to go through injuries. They're going to go through dry spells. You need defensemen, right? And look, I'm the first one to tell you, I don't think he's a great player at this point in time in his career, but he's given the Dallas Stars minutes, and at the regular season, you need some guys to chew up some minutes. And that's what Matt Dumba is doing. They're not always the most productive, but they're finding him a role. And give credit to Pete DeBoer. He has healthy scratched him. It's not like he's played every single night, and they're not aware of some of his weaknesses in his game. That's a good sign. I'll give them that. They're not just throwing him in the lineup because they're paying him sort of thing. Like they brought Petrovic up, and with his injury, that could possibly be the solution again. So we'll have to see. I'm curious how the back end develops, right? Lundqvist, for all of his improvements, he's been such a consistent player on the back end. Hopefully his offense can get going. I'm interested to see where Niels Lundqvist comes into play postseason time, because that will be the next jump in his career. Look, we know what he can do now, but we all know that the play and physicality really ramps up and really elevates in the postseason. And last season, he was a bit lost. He And he was playing, 6-7 minutes a night, maybe 8 if you were up by a couple of goals. So that's where I'm starting to question how the back end is going to develop. Like, are they going to trust Niels enough to have him play 14 minutes a night in the postseason? You'll give him the opportunity, I believe. They'll give him that chance, but if there's mistakes, they're not gonna put up with it, and we may be to this 5-man rotation sort of thing again. But there's a lot of things that can happen from now until April at this point, and I really shouldn't get ahead of myself, but that's a question I do have down the line that I will continue to ponder, and I think we'll be asking that question when the playoffs roll around. And again, knock on wood, the Stars will continue to push for a playoff spot. I think they will, and they're still in a good spot here as they hit a homestand where they have been pretty much unbeatable at home this season. Speaking of a team that has been beatable, the Nashville Predators, how the mighty have fallen so far this season. The Stars have a chance to hand them their 9th straight loss. Yes, 9 straight. We'll get into the Preds in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Indeed. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now. Support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. You need to hire. You need Indeed. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is also brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can place $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you're on the couch on Sunday afternoon enjoying the huge football slate in the NFL, make some money this weekend by getting FanDuel. It takes 30 seconds. Download the app on FanDuel. And the best thing about it is when you get that hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. The Nashville Predators currently rank 7th in the Central Division with 20 points, 7, 16, and 6. And the Stars and Preds have not met since day one of the 2024-25 campaign, and Dallas won that one by a final score of 4-3. You know, the Predators had a couple of late goals in that one to make it interesting, but for the most part, the Stars jumped out to a pretty big lead and were on top of the Preds early and often in that game in Nashville. And I think a lot of us believe Nashville would be fine and they may get off to a slow start and they'll figure it out. Well, that has not been the case. And now they've run into a few injuries. Ryan O'Reilly out with a lower body the last few games. He's week to week. Roman Josi was injured in the first period on Tuesday's game against the Flames, and he did not return. He possibly will not be playing tonight at the American Airlines Center either, I should say. The Stars are looking for their 5th straight home win. Preds could lose their 9th straight game, which would be a franchise record. They are 0-5-3 currently in this slide, and they've just totaled 14 goals during those 8 games. And their offense has been a mess. They're 32nd in the NHL. They're dead last. 2.21 goals per game with players like Forsberg, O'Reilly, Marchessault, and Stamkos. And Stamkos and Marchessault are at 7 goals this season. Forsberg leads them with 9. Like, they don't have nobody at double digits, and their leading scorer is their defenseman, Roman Josi. What could have gone wrong has gone wrong for them. 3.17 goals against. Saros has a 2.72 goals against average and 908 save percentage. So it's not brutal, but man, it has been really, really tough. The Stars are 11-2 and have outscored their opponents 19-8 during this 4-game win streak. And they open up this little 6-game homestand against the Preds now, who are just struggling to find anything. This is interesting too. From UC Stars recently, 3.46 goals against average during a current 0-4-3 stretch. So yeah, Saros has had some issues here recently as well. And frankly, we may be getting to a point at what we saw last season in the Predators year where Dallas just beat the ever-living breaks off of them, and then the whole U2 concert situation happened. I don't foresee the Preds going on a run like they did after that game, but Dallas has a chance to almost just twist the knife at this point on the Nashville Predators. They have a fantastic penalty kill, though. It is first in the NHL at 87%. Power plays okay, 18%, just a point above Dallas, but they can't score right now, and they give up quite a bit. And they're 1-6-3 in their last 10. And, they've played some decent opponents, but look, their losses: New Jersey, Philly, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, and Calgary. It has not been pretty for the Nashville Predators at all. And as I mentioned, what has gone wrong, or what could have gone wrong, has gone wrong. And, they made a trade and they got rid of Tomasino, who was a young forward that I really liked, and I feel like had always very good games against Dallas, but they are searching for something. And Andrew Burnett a few days ago came out and said he could almost healthy scratch everybody, and I think that just sort of sums up how the season has gone for the Predators, and it's almost baffling. But look, some of you called it. Some of you hit it on the head. Like, you didn't see why people were so high on them. And credit to you, because I thought they were going to be third in Central. That was my prediction. But no, that will certainly not be the case. Looks like they'll be in the mix for a lottery pick if this continues. So I'm curious to see what kind of game we get out of Nashville. You would think there'd be a lot of pride. I mean, they have to know that history is looming, and they don't want that to happen on their watch. But possible absences of Josi and O'Reilly. Nyquist was out with an illness the other day. Lauzon's on the IR. I mean, Carrier is week to week. So it has not been all rainbows and butterflies in Nashville this season. I mean, it's so precarious to see. Even Forsberg, like 19 points in 29 games. It's, he's sort of, you would see him as a Jason Robertson caliber, where he'd just be lighting it up, and he coming off a 40-goal season. But it has not gone well, and that's a redundancy in this segment. So looking forward to, hopefully the Stars can kill him, figuratively, of course. Yes, not literally. Put the dagger at him. And this will be a tough one. But, Dallas has been incredible at home, And we discussed some of the home and road splits yesterday. Be sure to check out that episode. All you everydayers out there, shout out to you, by the way, for tuning in every single day here on Locked On Stars. Thank you so much for the love and support. Please be sure to subscribe. We're almost to 3,500 subscribers. Would love to get there by the end of the year if we can. Let's continue to grow this community and appreciate all your cooperation and the wonderful feedback you give episode in and out this season. We're having a blast here on Locked On Stars. All righty. America's favorite segment, Shooting Star, upcoming here as we get to the takeaway segment on Locked On Stars. Shooting Star, let me know your answers in the comments below and on the YouTube community tab. We'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. You can take a look at the hockey board. They have Jack Hughes for more than 4 shots on goal. Artemi Panarin, more than 1 assist. John Tavares for more than 9 faceoffs won. And Brady Tkachuk for more than 5.5 hits. Those are the types of plays you can make. And it's not just hockey, football, soccer, basketball, baseball, whenever that comes back around. By the way, Rangers making some moves here in the offseason. Those are the type of plays you can make and you can win money. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. It's been a while since we've played Shooting Star here on Locked On Stars. So we're back at it as the Stars take on the Nashville Predators tonight. I believe it's a 7 o'clock puck drop. Let me confirm that. And now that I say it, it's probably 7:30, and it's not. It's 7 o'clock on Victory Plus. And the Stars have a couple Central Division matchups here in the next 2, with St. Louis coming to town on Saturday. By the way, I will be putting out an episode tomorrow, post-game, after hopefully a Stars victory tonight. And then after the weekend, the Ice Rays will be on Christmas break. So I'll have a bit more leeway, possibly be able to throw out some weekend episodes if the Stars have games and all that. We'll see what the schedule looks like in Christmas and all that. But I do get a pretty nice break of like 15 days. So be a bit more content I can kind of get to than I normally would, as it's been a very, very busy hockey season. But looking forward to that. But, Odessa here this weekend. Hope the Stars can pick up, or I should say the Ice Rays, pick up a few more dubs here on the weekend. Anyways, back to the task at hand, since none of you care about my schedule. Shooting Star. I've been feeling this pick here since the top of today's show. It has to be my man Wyatt Johnston. He's starting to get on a roll. I really should probably pick Rope Hintz. Seems like he has big games against the Preds, but I'm going to go Wyatt Johnston. No, it should be Marchment. It really would. I've already locked it in. I'm going with Johnston. I'm probably missing out on Marchment, who seems to terrorize the Preds. He scored, 2 goals in that first meeting back at Bridgestone, but I'm going with Johnston. He's on a bit of a roll. I'm thinking a big night, like a 3-point night from 53. Wyatt just goes completely bonkers. Stars possibly put up 10 tonight. Wouldn't that be something? And they deliver a big blow to the Nashville Predators. So that's what I'm going with. Wyatt Johnson, my Shooting Star pick. Let me know in the comments, also via the YouTube community tab. Appreciate your cooperation on that throughout the season. It has been phenomenal. So there you go. There's my Shooting Star on December 12th. Do want to give a happy birthday shout out to my wonderful sister, Maddie, as well. It's her birthday on, this is December 11th when I'm recording. Very, very happy birthday to her. And as well, she'll be an incredible mom too, which is very, very exciting. So I'm expecting well, I guess a niece or nephew, which is crazy. It'll probably be a niece. It seems like it's always a girl in my family. I'm like the only boy, so it'll probably be a niece, but maybe she'll change that. But anyways, happy birthday to her. She'll be an incredible mom, and she's a incredible nurse as well. So there you go. Just wanted to sneak that in there. Maybe she's listening. Sometimes she does. Maybe she'll catch that. So anyways, have a great Thursday night. Enjoy the Stars game. I'll have an episode up for you bright and bushy-tailed on a Friday morning on Locked On Stars. As always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll go ahead and close it out. So long, Stars fans.